Hi guys, I'm Patrick Green and I'm back with another personal opinion review of the Maverik RX3 Roam glove. This is the 13-inch model HPU team issued colorway. I think it really highlights the lengths that Maverik's customization can go. But first, let's highlight some things that I like about the glove. Personally, I love the Axe suede palm. You see a lot of top brands like Maverik, Under Armour, Warrior switching to this Axe suede palm, and it's for good reason. It's very durable without being too bulky. They're not sacrificing a lot of sensitivity. You still get a really good grip. They break in nicely and they can sort of withstand a good beating, as well as this reinforced strip that they did along the palm here, as well as right where you sort of make contact with your stick. It does a great job of staying tough. This pair here has lasted an entire season of college, Division I college level lacrosse. So while they've shows some holes and some wear and tear in terms of the mesh in the back of the hand and the holes in the palms, these are in very good condition and could probably go on for at least another couple of seasons, depending on how much you play, which I think is a really good look in terms of how much Maverik's pricing is on this. They are currently at $180, which is certainly up there in the price range, but I think you really would be spending your money nicely getting a pair of these. Next thing I wanted to touch on was the quality. The leather here, while some of it is smooth and other is sort of a textured leather, sort of a circular perforation pattern. It feels solid. It's definitely hard and thick enough to sustain a lot of those hard checks that you get on the knuckles, fingers, as well as backhand, which I think this multi-layered cuff does a good job of. It really deflects a lot of the contact, as well as they have a break in the cuff, so when you're going back to shoot or just cradling in general or making a pass, you're always covered on the wrist, which I think is a good thing. I don't see too many gloves that have this much wrist protection, so as far as hard checks go, you're covered. I personally wore these for a fall season and didn't experience anything where I could feel the impact of the check past the initial contact, where I was worrying about, am I injured, this and that. And I think the thumb also does a really good job of covering that with all of the different breaks in the thumb. You can really bend it well. One of my main complaints with Maverik when they first came out with gear was the thumb. It didn't have a lot of mobility. The Maverik, I want to say Maverik glove a couple years ago, really only had this slit down the middle, which it was hard to bend. Now they've added many breaks in here, as well as this Poron XRD material. It's sort of very flexible, but it's a lot more durable than their old protective, I want to say technology, shark gel. It really eats up the impact very well, and it's sort of placed well strategically around the glove. Now on to some of my complaints about the glove. Although I highlighted it earlier, the multi-cuff system here, I feel like, while it does offer a lot of protection, some of the best wrist protection I think I've ever seen, it is a little bit of overkill. When I'm going this way to cradle, it is not a problem, but when I'm winding up for a shot, and I really like to bend my wrists a lot when I shoot, especially on the run when you're trying to really cock your shoulders back and sort of load up to put all of your energy into the shot. I feel like these are a bit restrictive because of the different layers. I think the 3-wall layer here is a little unnecessary if you ask me. I've seen gloves that only use three pieces of protective material up here, as well as just this cuff, but Maverik adding this in, I think, really improved the protection, but not as much as the comfort and mobility, which is why I think you see a lot of players cut their cuffs out, but that is another personal preference thing that I've never really liked. I always like having a lot of wrist protection, so that's kind of outweighed here. Another thing that I've seen on this model glove that I didn't really see a lot with other gloves was rust buildup. You can see it there in the wrists. I've never been a big fan of having any sort of string between those eyelets to sort of help keep my gloves on. It's sort of irrelevant when you have this thing, when you just want to rip your gloves off but keep them on and take a sip from a water bottle, etc. But I'm not sure why it rusted, honestly. It might be the metal that they used. If you look at, and I'm always going to jump back to my favorite pair of gloves, probably of all time, because they lasted me long and they've been beat to hell, but they're a good example of 4 years of wet, dry, you know, all conditions of play. This metal here never really rusted out, and I think it was just a material that they used. I'm not sure what it was or anything like that, but those would be my two main complaints with the glove. Would I recommend this glove? Absolutely. I think at the $180 range, it is still a great offering. You definitely see the quality of the material, the leather, and the other synthetic material here really seems to stand up against a lot of checks. The axe suede palm is very durable as well. The mesh on the finger issue, I'm not sure what happened here with this player using them, but I'm sure that is an easy fix or is something that was just this pair, but definitely not something to discourage you from buying the RX3 glove. I would highly recommend it, and hopefully this review helped. You can subscribe, like, add in the comments below what gear I should review next, and follow me on Instagram, 610LAX. I will be doing a lot of gear uploading, as well as just sort of highlights from the weekend of this college lacrosse season. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.